Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at Terry BOGARD from the Tunshi. Did I say that right? I feel like I messed that up. Did I mess it up? Nope, that's right. Studio. It's, I don't know if it's their first release. I've never bought anything from them before, but it's a new Terry BOGARD figure, which I needed to have because ever since he showed up in Smash Brothers, he's been one of my favorite characters. And I don't really know much about Terry because I never played the SNK games. But I like him in Smash, and I like his character design, so I had to get it. And so here it is. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before I show you the figure, I do want to show you my package. It's a pretty good package. It's a really high-end package. If you like good packaging, this is it. The window only shows the figure, front and center for the window, and that's good. This part is basically empty, so it's not the most necessarily appealing package, but the quality is very nice. It's thick cardboard, good printing, some metallic on there, good windows. It's a really nice quality package if you're into that sort of thing. I mean, I appreciate it, but I don't really care. I'd rather all the budget go into the figure personally, but it's a good package. Okay, all right, we'll set that aside. And we will look at the figure. Now, I will say this guy came out a while ago overseas, probably for less money, but he is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. Last time I looked, I'll put a link in the description below if you still need to track one down. All right, he stands roughly, we'll call it 6 3/8 inches, maybe a little bit shy of that. That's going to make him just about 16 centimeters. Here he is up against a Marvel Legends Darwin, so he's probably a little bit big for true 1/12 scale. No, he definitely is, because he's supposed to be like 6 foot even, something like that. It said on the box. I'll check. According to the box, he's 6 feet tall, so he's bigger than 1/12 scale. True 1/12 scale, but it'll be fine. So before we get into his review, though, I do want to do a comparison between the only other Terry BOGARD figure that I'm aware of that is in something like this scale, and it is the old D-Arts one, which is very old and stylized, but still kind of awesome. He's a lot bigger. A lot bigger. This Terry is probably closer to a true 1/12 scale. And this one's a little bit bigger. Could you fudge them both into the same collection? Sure. Definitely. And you can see they're very different styles. I have reviewed this one. I'll put that link in the little corner up there or down in the description. Very good figure for its time. Still holds up in a lot of ways, but not really a contender for this one if you're into this sort of thing. Now, let's do a question of the day. How do you guys feel about soft goods like this? For me, I'm okay with it. I don't love the jeans because they still don't look quite right, but the pleather looks really nice. That blends in with plastic just fine, and I don't mind the undershirt because it's such a minimal thing. I still tend to prefer plastic, like almost always, even sometimes with capes, but in this case, it's not bad. Now, when we get to the articulation, you'll see why I don't prefer the soft goods, but it does look nice. I will definitely go with you on that one. So let's get into the aesthetic. He looks nice. He looks really nice. For the scale, the soft goods look really good. They dirtied up the pants on the bottom there by the shoes. The pleather jacket looks really good at this scale because it's pleather, so as long as they made it thin enough, it's fine, which they did. Little rivets and things. His undershirt is the spandex material. I always tell you is the best material to use, so that's good. The belt looks okay. It's, as far as it's gonna look good, they did a good job. It still looks out of scale and weird in some ways, especially the jeans, but they did a pretty darn good job with the soft goods. I like it. Skin tone, love it. Very nice plastic choice. A little bit of shading throughout. That looks pretty good. I'll give them that. And then for the head and hat, that's very nicely detailed. That's good. I think the face is a really nice sculpt. A little soft looking in the face, but sometimes Terry does look like that, so that's understandable. The hair is very nicely done. Good paint, good shading, good sculpt. No problems there. So generally, he's pretty aesthetically pleasing. The only thing I'll note, which isn't a huge deal until you pose him, is that his legs, even for Terry, are exceedingly skinny. He has very, very, very thin legs, and you can't tell so much when you pull the pants down just right and you don't pose him so that they're not being stretched at all. It looks okay. So I would say this guy's best attribute is looking really good when you don't pose him, which is not a good thing for an action figure. It's an okay thing if you're not interested in posing. If you're just doing hero poses and stuff, that'll be fine, but he looks really good when you don't pose him. And he really has no butt. That's noticeable right off the bat. But when we get into the other parts, you'll see there are some downsides. But he does look really good. I will give him that. So for the aesthetic, I'll say 8 out of 10. It's pretty darn good. I like a lot of things about it, so that's awesome. Now, as far as accessories go, you do get just 2 heads, one normal, one yelling, and then 2 ponytails, one normal and one flowing. So that's probably all you need. That should be fine. For hands, not a huge spread of hands, but enough. I think, again, that should be all you need. Except, wait, you should have one where his hat is not on. Why does nobody do that? I don't think Storm did it. Theirs is way bigger. That's why I'm not comparing it. I don't think... Maybe D-Arts did. I don't remember. I didn't look at the whole package. Anyway, he doesn't have an unhatted head, so I do think that would be a thing. So we get those hands, and then we get 2 effect parts. Both very nicely done. I like the one that snaps onto his fist. Very nice. And then we get the other one, which is my favorite move in Smash Brothers. But it looks really good, and it has a light-up feature. Now, the light-up feature is unfortunately not good. First of all, it doesn't come with a battery, which I get, but it's annoying because it's a battery I didn't have. I keep having to buy batteries. Can we standardize which batteries we're using, please, companies? So you put the thing in the bottom, and then you get a magnet to try to turn it on. And you can do that, and it usually works. There you go. But the lights in it, it doesn't look good. They're just white lights. There's 3, they're pretty bright, but the way they shine, it doesn't light up very well at all. Honestly, it's a good thing it looks good without the lighting feature. Because the way it works is, you just get these 3 LEDs that point up. Now, you could point them down, but that would do almost nothing. But those 3 LEDs are just white, and they don't light up the tip of the effect part, which would be the brightest spot. And yeah, like, it's brighter than it looks like on camera, but it still sucks. The light up feature blows, so that's unfortunate. And then turning it off is a pain in the ass, because you have to touch it like 4 times with the magnet to turn it off, which is not a huge deal, obviously, but I don't think we need the breathing and the flickering and whatever effects. So, I don't know. It's a good thing it looks good on its own, because it does look good on its own. Light up feature blows. That's it for accessories. So, not the most, given the price point, which is, it's over $100. I don't remember what it is exactly. It's over $100 at Big Bad Toy Store. I don't know if you can get it anywhere else. But, yeah, I would like to see some more. At least an unhatted head. Or something. Or another, like, there's more effect parts he could have. But it's fine. I will say 7 out of 10 for accessories. Okay, let's get into the articulation. First thing I'm going to show you is the hair can rotate because it just goes in on a straight peg, like that. And then we're going to set that aside so it's out of the way. Now I want to show you the articulation. For the head and neck, it's hard to get the neck to move because it's quite stiff, but we have just ball pegs going on for the head and neck, so you should be okay other than where the hair gets in the way. He can't really look up very well, which is a problem. Like, that's it, especially with the hat. So he's kind of limited in that regard. That's a problem. He looks down a little bit. Not as much range as I would like. And that, unfortunately, is the whole story on this figure. His articulation leaves a lot to be desired. I was expecting to see a really good set, and it's okay. So for the shoulder, I don't know if it's meant to have any play, but it really doesn't. It mostly can just rotate around, which is okay. There's no butterfly that I can find. Doesn't seem to pull out or do anything in any way. There's a little bit of wiggle there, but that's it. So, shoulder's pretty limited. Going out to the side, we can get up to horizontal, so that is okay. But then you can get a real good look at his shoulder to bicep area, and I get what they're doing there. They're trying to add... The bicep muscle tucks in underneath the shoulder, kind of. And so they're trying to simulate that, but it doesn't look great. And then when you go to rotate the bicep swivel, it gives him all these extra weird gaps and lumps and things. And it's not a good look. It's always better, if you ask me, and I think this proves it out, to just make that smooth. Don't add that cut in there for the musculature, because it looks weird when you go to use it. Looks really weird. So his bicep swivel doesn't have a ton of range, but it's enough, so that's okay. Then we have the double jointed elbow, which is maybe the biggest elbow joint I've ever seen. It's quite substantial, and it actually gets kind of lumpy. It's more noticeable on this side. It gets kind of lumpy and weird. Now, it's not a big deal, but this is kind of a high-end figure, so I was expecting to not have issues like this. It almost seems like the joint isn't seated all the way in, and that's why it's sticking out on top like that. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but you do get good range out of it, and he does look good enough with his elbows bent, but it is still a really big and lumpy and weird design for the elbow joint. I don't know, maybe this company focuses on soft goods more often, and so they're doing weird things for the anatomy that you don't normally see. It's not going to be a deal breaker, but his elbows are kind of weird looking, and they don't have the deepest bend, despite being really big joints. So he'll be posable, but it's not going to be the best looking thing in the world. That's for sure. The wrists. Little ball hinges. And that'll be fine. Like, you mostly don't need to pose wrists on fighting characters too much, so it doesn't really matter to me. But they're there and they work well enough. His torso, he does have a diaphragm joint which functions pretty well. You get the abs and stuff showing through the shirt. That's nice. They did cut it at the rib cage, so it looks natural when he's posed. You get a ball peg down here at the lower waist. Torso works pretty well. The arms are unfortunate, but the torso is pretty decent. And, like, you're gonna be able to get him to pose, but it's not as good as it should be if you ask me. Especially for what should be a pretty darn high-end figure. There's just weird choices. Now we have the problem of the pants and the legs. His legs are so insanely skinny, and he does not look good. And he also has drop-down hips underneath the pants, which are a nightmare to use. And right now they're even kind of stuck. His hip joints keep getting stuck on me, and I don't know if they're going to get worse and worse or what's going on. But even just moving the leg forward and back, you hear? I don't know if you can hear it, but you have to be able to hear that. The hips just kind of blow. Even with the drop downs, they're like, you technically get enough range, but then he gets super skinny legged and his pants pull up too high, and soft goods aren't a good choice almost ever. And so yeah, you get the double jointed knee, which is functional enough, but his leg looks just like a tube inside pants. And the hips get all bunched up, and they're a pain in the ass to move. You do get a thigh swivel, but that drop down, you're fighting it through the pants, which is a nightmare. It's so unpleasant to handle. He has no butt, which isn't something I need in my male characters, but anatomically it makes him look weird that he has no butt or leg muscles at all. He should have leg muscles, and he doesn't. So yeah, I'm not thrilled. And then going out to the side, of course, we're already running into it. You can't pose him properly because of the damn pants, and it takes away from the looks. Like, even for a guy who's supposed to be somewhat top heavy, he looks weird. So that's a problem. And then for the ankles, you already saw it exposes his ankles when you're bending his legs, but I can't tell what's going on in there. I think it's just a ball peg. It's really limited. The range sucks all the way around. His feet seem a little bit long, probably are. And the toe hinge is acceptable, but nothing good. So yeah, he's not what I was expecting all the way. The upper body's acceptable. The lower body's pretty unfortunate. It does not look great. And you can pose him well enough and get him into a pose and never touch him again, and it'll be fine. But he's not super fun to handle because posing his legs really sucks. And then his arms are a little bit ugly looking, and he doesn't have any exceptional range. It's just kind of good enough. Like, am I happy to have it in my collection? Yeah, I suppose so, because it's not like it's a bad figure or anything, but it could have been way better, and for the price point, it really should have been. I'll give his articulation a 7 at best. It should be a lot better. I was expecting better, and I think they could have done better, especially in the arms. Even if it was just the arms better and the legs were only okay, but like, he's looking down again. It's kind of an annoying figure. I want to love it personally, and I kind of do, but I also kind of hate handling it. And as an objective reviewer, as much as I can be, it's fine, I guess, in the articulation section. So yeah, 7 for articulation at best. And now it's time for the final verdict. I can't say I don't recommend it, because it's not bad. And we don't have a lot of options for Terry, so anything, when you don't have options and it's going to be good enough, it's fine. I think for anybody who's buying it, you're not going to be like totally heartbroken or anything, but you're not going to be thrilled with it. It is unpleasant to handle for the legs. Like you saw, I just had to reseat his drop-down hip. And so he's going to end up in a hero pose, I think, on my shelf, which is unfortunate. Maybe I'll try to get him into a pose I like. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to give him an overall rating of 7. Parts of him are a lot better, but other parts of him are not. And I think the overall thing is just not quite where it needs to be. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm torn. I'm really trying to hide my bias for wanting to like the figure. And I do like it's definitely a good looking Terry. If you just put it like that, yep, looks good. but once you get into it, it really starts to look a lot less good. And honestly, this one's super stylized and has its limitations, but it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun to pose and a lot more fun to handle. And it came with really good effect parts. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm done. I'll stop rambling. And I guess that'll do it. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please... Oh, I forgot to mention, I think this is wired. That is a good thing. Did I mention that? It is wired. I thought I mentioned it. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. So yeah, that's a plus, but... That's about it. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.